There are moments in life when the silence becomes heavier than the struggle itself. Nights where prayers feel trapped against the ceiling. Days where nothing changes no matter how hard you try. Some people listening right now are exhausted, not physically, spiritually, emotionally. Deep inside, there is a quiet battle nobody else can see. You kept believing, you kept waiting, you kept asking God for a sign. But instead of answers, there was silence. Instead of movement, there was delay. Instead of clarity, there was confusion. Yet there is something most people never realize about seasons of waiting. Some of the greatest shifts in life begin in complete silence, long before doors open, long before prayers are answered, long before restoration appears. Something unseen starts moving beneath the surface. Many people mistake delay for rejection. They mistake silence for abandonment. But throughout history, some of the most powerful spiritual transformations happened during hidden seasons. Nobody understood at the time. There is a reason farmers do not dig up seeds every day to check their growth. The process happens underground first, invisible, quiet, slow, but necessary. In the same way, many people fail to understand that God often works in hidden ways before visible change arrives. That delay which nearly broke your faith may not have been punishment at all. It may have been preparation. And there is something deeply unsettling about this season right now. Many people have reported feeling emotionally overwhelmed recently. Restless nights, strong emotions returning unexpectedly, relationships changing suddenly, old habits losing their grip, strange moments of reflection appearing out of nowhere. These moments are often ignored, but spiritual teachers throughout history believe seasons of transition usually begin with internal disruption before external breakthrough appears. That is why this message today is different. May 29th is not being talked about as just another date. For many people, it marks a spiritual turning point, a moment where waiting slowly begins turning into movement, a moment where confusion starts making sense, a moment where closed doors begin opening in unexpected ways. Some people listening to this are closer to breakthrough than they realize, but frustration has blinded them from seeing it. The frightening part is that many people quit during the final moments before change arrives. They walk away too early. They stop praying too soon. They lose faith right before the breakthrough they asked God for finally begins moving toward them. There is also a hidden truth most people never hear during painful seasons. Sometimes God removes people, opportunities, and distractions because they cannot enter the next chapter with you. Not every closed door was an attack. Some closed because they were too small for where your life is heading. Some relationships ended because they were delaying your growth. Some disappointments protected you from future destruction you could not see at the time. And while many people see waiting as weakness, spiritual history tells a completely different story. Nearly every major transformation in Scripture happened after a season of silence, testing, isolation, or delay. Before restoration came wilderness. Before breakthrough came endurance. Before elevation came hidden preparation. That is why this video matters. Today, you are going to learn why your waiting season may finally be ending. You will understand the hidden reasons behind unanswered prayers. You will discover the emotional and spiritual signs that often appear before life begins changing. You will also learn why certain struggles had to happen before your next chapter could begin. Most importantly, you will understand why some delays were actually protecting your future instead of destroying it. There are patterns many people overlook, small signs, quiet shifts, unexplainable feelings. These moments often happen before major life transitions, yet most people dismiss them because the change has not fully appeared yet. But by the end of this video, you may start recognizing that God has been moving in your life this entire time, even during the silence. Stay until the end, because one part of this message could completely change the way you see your current struggle, especially if you have been feeling forgotten lately, especially if you almost gave up recently. There is a powerful reason why this message found you today instead of yesterday or next week. Some people clicked on this video by accident. Others were meant to hear it during this exact season of their life. And while the world teaches people to rush everything, God often works through timing, slow timing, uncomfortable timing, mysterious timing, timing that tests patience, faith, and endurance. But there comes a moment when the waiting reaches its limit, a moment when hidden preparation turns into visible change. Many people say, that moment is approaching now. You may not see the full picture yet. The breakthrough may not be fully visible today, but something is shifting, quietly, deeply, spiritually. The same God who carried you through silent nights and painful uncertainty is still working behind the scenes, even now. So do not allow temporary silence to convince you that your story is over. Your waiting season may be closer to ending than you think. Welcome to our channel, where we share powerful, faith-filled messages designed to strengthen your spirit and remind you that God is still moving, even during the hardest seasons of life. If this message speaks to your heart, make sure you subscribe and join this growing community of believers seeking hope, clarity, and encouragement for the journey ahead. There comes a point in every waiting season where the pain stops feeling temporary. At first, people stay hopeful. They believe things will change quickly. They pray with confidence. They expect answers within days or weeks. But when nothing changes, something deeper begins happening inside the heart. The waiting slowly becomes heavy. Every closed door feels personal. Every delay feels confusing. Every unanswered prayer creates another layer of disappointment. Some people listening to this know exactly what that feels like. You watched others move forward while your own life stayed still. Other people found relationships while yours fell apart. Other people received opportunities while your doors kept closing. Other people celebrated breakthroughs while you sat quietly wondering when your turn would come. That kind of waiting creates silent exhaustion most people never talk about. And the hardest part is not always the struggle itself. The hardest part is not understanding why it keeps happening. There are nights when people pray with tears in their eyes and still wake up to the same problems the next morning. There are moments when faith becomes difficult because heaven feels silent. Some people even begin questioning whether God still hears them at all. They continue smiling around others while secretly feeling spiritually empty inside. That emotional distance can become terrifying. A person can sit in church, listen to worship music, repeat prayers, and still feel disconnected deep inside. Not because they stopped loving God, but because disappointment slowly drained their hope. Waiting has a way of testing the human spirit in silence. It forces people into battles nobody else can see. Many people never talk about how exhausting it becomes to stay strong all the time, to keep believing after repeated disappointment, to keep praying after repeated silence, to keep hoping after repeated delays. And sometimes the pain becomes even greater because nobody else understands the battle. Friends may tell you to stay positive, family may tell you to be patient, but they do not hear the silent prayers whispered late at night when fear takes over. They do not see the tears hidden behind forced smiles. They do not feel the pressure of carrying unanswered questions for months or even years. That is why so many people slowly lose hope without realizing it. Not all at once, slowly, a little more each day. But there is something important about seasons like this that most people fail to understand. Silence does not mean God stopped working. In fact, some of the most important changes happen when nothing appears to be happening at all. Nature itself reveals this pattern. Seeds do not grow above the ground first. The process starts underneath the surface where nobody can see it. Roots begin forming in darkness before growth becomes visible. And if somebody looked too early, they would assume nothing was happening. But underneath the soil, preparation was already taking place. The same thing often happens spiritually. God frequently works in hidden places before visible breakthrough appears. While people focus on closed doors, God may be building strength inside them. While people focus on delays, God may be protecting them from opportunities that would destroy them later. While people feel forgotten, heaven may actually be preparing them for something greater than they expected. That is the difficult truth about waiting seasons. Preparation rarely feels exciting while it is happening. Many blessings require timing people cannot fully understand yet. Some prayers cannot be answered immediately because the person asking is still becoming ready for the answer. Character must grow first. Wisdom must grow first. Strength must grow first. There are moments when God says no, but there are also moments when God says not yet. And there is a massive difference between the two. Many people confuse delay with denial because they only see the present moment. They do not see the hidden protection. They do not see the unseen preparation. They do not see the future dangers God may be keeping away from them. Some relationships had to fail because they would have destroyed your peace later. Some opportunities had to close because they would have taken you away from your purpose. Some delays existed because the timing was incomplete. Even Scripture repeatedly shows this pattern. Before elevation came isolation. Before breakthrough came testing. Before promise came waiting. The process was painful, but it was never pointless. And that is why your season may be changing now. Not because life suddenly became easy, not because you avoided hardship, but because you survived it. The struggle shaped you in ways comfort never could. The lonely seasons taught you discernment. The disappointments exposed people who were never truly loyal. The delays forced you to develop patience and endurance. Even the silence strengthened parts of your spirit that would have remained weak otherwise. Many people ask God for growth, but growth often arrives disguised as difficulty. There are people who had to leave your life before your next chapter could begin. Some carried confusion, negativity, jealousy, or distraction. Keeping them close would have delayed your future even longer. Losing them felt painful at the time, but eventually you may realize their absence became part of your protection. There were also lessons your spirit needed to learn before the breakthrough could be trusted in your hands. Without those painful seasons, you may have entered the next chapter unprepared emotionally, spiritually, or mentally. That is why May 29th carries such emotional weight for many people listening right now. It represents transition, the feeling that something hidden is finally beginning to move, the feeling that the season of constant delay is slowly losing its grip. And before major change arrives, certain signs often begin appearing first. Many people suddenly feel spiritually awake again after a long season of numbness. Others notice old doors closing permanently without fear anymore. Some feel an unexplainable sense. That change is approaching even though circumstances still look uncertain. At the same time, emotional battles may increase. Fear becomes louder. Doubt becomes stronger. Confusion intensifies. That happens because breakthrough often creates resistance before arrival. Many people experience their hardest internal battles right before life begins changing externally. Some people also begin pulling away from noise and distraction. Isolation no longer feels empty. Instead, it becomes necessary. Reflection becomes deeper. Priorities become clearer. Things that once mattered begin losing importance. Unexpected opportunities may also begin appearing slowly. Small signs, quiet connections, sudden conversations, new ideas, tiny openings that seem insignificant at first but later become life-changing. And strangely, even during uncertainty, peace begins returning little by little, not because every problem disappeared, but because something inside starts trusting God again. That is why this next season matters so much. You cannot afford to quit now. Do not allow exhaustion to destroy your faith during the final stage of the process. Continue praying even when emotions feel weak. Continue protecting your peace even when negativity surrounds you. Stop speaking hopelessly about your future because your words shape your mindset more than you realize. There are people who sabotage their own breakthrough because they return to old habits the moment life becomes difficult again. Others reconnect with toxic people who nearly destroyed them before, but wisdom learns from painful seasons instead of repeating them. Stay spiritually prepared for what comes next. Even if you do not fully understand the timing yet, even if the process still feels slow, even if some prayers remain unanswered today. Before this video ends, there is one thing you need to remember tonight. You are not alone in this battle. Even during the silence, even during the delays, even during the nights when Nobody understood your pain, heaven still saw every tear, every prayer, and every moment you almost gave up. Some people listening to this were seconds away from losing hope completely. The pressure became too heavy. The waiting became too long. The disappointment became too familiar. But this message reached you for a reason, not by accident, not randomly. There are moments when God sends encouragement right when the human spirit is close to breaking, and this may be one of those moments for you. May 29th may become more than just another day on the calendar. It may become the beginning of a new chapter in your life, a chapter where clarity replaces confusion, a chapter where peace replaces fear, a chapter where doors finally begin opening after a long season of waiting. Do not ignore the shift happening inside you right now. Sometimes breakthrough begins quietly before it becomes visible. Sometimes God starts changing the heart before changing the situation. And sometimes the greatest miracles begin during the exact moment a person thinks nothing is happening. That is why you cannot quit now. Do not allow temporary pain to convince you that your future has disappeared. The waiting season did not come to destroy you. It came to prepare you. Every difficult moment built strength inside you. Every delay taught endurance. Every closed door pushed you closer to the place God actually intended for your life. One day, you may look back and realize the silence was not abandonment at all. It was preparation happening behind the scenes. And if this message spoke to your spirit today, type "My season is changing" in the comments below. Declare it with faith. Declare it even if life still looks uncertain right now. Also, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more powerful faith-based messages that strengthen your spirit and remind you that God is still working, even during the hardest seasons of life. Keep believing, keep praying, keep moving forward one step at a time. Because sometimes the longest waiting season comes right before the biggest answer arrives.